In this video, I want to talk about how you can become wealthy without anybody noticing. So many people say that they want to become millionaires, but what they really want to do is just spend $1 million. The true millionaires really can be your neighbor next door. They're not living extravagant lifestyles, going on crazy vacations, driving Ferraris around. They're making long-term smart decisions for themselves that end up accumulating into enough for them to become a millionaire. If you're new here, I'm Pietro Conti, and I've worked in the finance industry for the past 10 years. On this channel, we focus on making smart personal finance decisions so that you can level up your self-improvement goals. If that's something that you're interested in, then you should subscribe to the channel and like the video. The number one way to responsibly accumulate wealth is to leverage the impacts of compound interest. If I were to ask you, would you rather have $1 million today, or would you rather have a penny that doubles in value over the course of a month? Most people would say, give me the $1 million up front, but really the correct answer is to get the penny that doubles in value every day. If you map out what that value would be, at first, just doubling in value from 1 penny to 2 cents to 4 cents doesn't seem like it's going to get anywhere, but over a long enough period of time, the penny ends up being worth significantly more than $1 million after 30 days. The human mind is not really equipped to comprehend the benefits of compounding over a long period of time, because what happens is that your money continues to increase in value, and as it increases in value, the portion that is earned on your investment will also generate returns going forward. The S&P 500 historically returns about 10% per year, and so what that means is that for every dollar that you put in today, in 7 years, that will approximately double. And in another 7 years, that money will double again. So think about it this way. If you put $10,000 in the market today, in 1 year, it should generate $1,000. So at the end of year one, you'll have $11,000. The next year, it won't generate another $1,000 because the original investment amount will also return money. So instead of generating $1,000 the next year, you'll get $1,100. Those small decisions over time compound and snowball into an amount that is significantly higher than it would have been, and the benefits really start the earlier that you start. So what I would recommend doing is, as soon as possible, start to put money to the side for retirement, because compounding, you'll really see the effects over a period of decades rather than a couple of years. If you're 20 or 30 years old, start planning for retirement today, because in 30, 40 years, when it's time to actually retire, the dollars that you put to the side today will be significantly higher and support your nest egg when it comes to retiring. The sooner that you can start investing, the better. What people always say is the first $100,000 is the hardest, because it really is. Once you make $100,000, a 10% return on that is 10K. So just by building scale, your investment will be able to make more than it would have on its own, and you'll start to see that the hardest time to save is up front, and over a long enough period of time, that money will accumulate into something significant for you. The next way to really accumulate wealth without anybody noticing is to automate your savings and investing decisions. You should be taking 20% of your take-home pay and either putting it into a savings account or investing it in the market so that you can start to achieve returns. You need to pay yourself first. That's the most responsible way to approach personal finance so that you can plan for the future. And so what I recommend doing is spend an hour or two and map out what your monthly take-home pay is, calculate what 20% of that is, and then go into either your bank account or high yield savings or brokerage account, wherever you're putting your money for savings now, and set up automatic transfers into that account. People should be investing every month to get the benefits of dollar cost averaging, which is where you put the same amount of money in each month, and as the market goes up, you get to participate in that upside. As the market goes down, what you'll be doing is buying at a discount so that in the long term, when the market goes up, you'll actually end up making more money. By setting it automatically, you don't even need to think about it. We're all busy. We all have 1,000 things going on in our life. If you can automate your personal finances and just make sure that your money is going into investments without even having to think about it, then you can focus on other parts of your life life while you're managing your money responsibly. And whenever it is that you decide to take a look at your finances again, whether that be every 6 months, year, couple years, you'll know that that process is taken care of. And if you believe in your system, then your money should increase significantly without you having to do any extra work, since it's already automated. The next tip here is to invest in assets that will generate passive income. Now, what is passive income? Passive income is when you don't have to do anything and your assets will generate money for you. If you put your money into a dividend paying stock, what that means is that you'll put forward a one-time cash outlay, and every quarter your stock will pay a dividend to you without you having to do anything. You can keep your hands back, and every quarter and every year you'll just get paid out dividends for those assets. By investing your money in those passive income streams, number one, you'll know that your principal amount that you put in is safe. And number two, over a couple of years, those assets are going to pay for themselves. So by just putting out a one-time cash outlay, you can sit back, collect dividends. Some other forms of passive income could be investing in real estate where you can charge rent. By doing that, you'll put forward a lot of money to get a piece of property. But by charging rent, you'll be able to cover the mortgage for that house and then have a few $100s coming in so that you can pay off the rest of that house. And over a long enough period of time, that house will be paid off, and then it's 100% cash flow to you. Another idea for passive income is to start a YouTube channel. By the time that you get monetized, then any video that you put out there just stays out there in perpetuity. By making the video and putting the time in to make it once, the algorithm will keep finding you viewers, and then eventually, hopefully, if your audience is large enough, then you can keep making money off of those videos from the initial time outlay that you put into it. What I recommend doing is start thinking about assets where you can put either time or money in up front, and over a long enough period of time, let those assets pay themselves back to you and then make a profit for you long term. And the more of those income streams that you can have, the quicker that you'll realize that the benefits of compound interest will all come together for you so that you can make a lot of money quicker than you think. The next tip that I have to really accumulate wealth here should be obvious but isn't to most. You need to live within your means. So many people try to keep up with the Joneses. They try to one-up their friends or family or impress other people. When it comes to your personal finances, you need to take a step back and kind of bury yourself in your world and understand what makes sense for me. So if you're putting 20% of your money to the side every month for investings and savings, you let that accumulate. But following the 50-30-20 rule, what you should do with your take-home pay after that 20% is paid out, look at what the total amount of your take-home pay is and cut it in half. With that half, you need to make sure to take care of what is truly important for you to live. Your rent, your car, your groceries. You need to make a list of what you actually need in order to survive on a monthly basis and try to operate within 50% of your take-home pay. What a lot of people find is that they're stretching in areas where they probably shouldn't be stretching in. They either want to have too nice of an apartment or a new car, or they go out to eat way too often. And so you need to really kind of take a step back, think what's responsible for me over here, and learn how to operate within that 50% framework. Now, there's definitely ways to increase your standard of living, and how I recommend doing that actually is by doing a good enough job at your job so that you can ask for a raise and increase your salary by 10 or 20% with a promotion. If that's not working, then you might want to think about either transferring jobs, because by transferring jobs, you can increase your pay a lot of times and be able to increase what your standard of living is that way. Or you invest in some assets, try and start a side hustle, either selling some used stuff that you have around the house you don't use anymore, driving for Uber, starting a side business, whatever you can to increase your take-home pay. And then what you do is you take that 50% of whatever your entire take-home pay is, cut it in half, and that'll be how you can increase your daily standard of living. But if you're not doing that, you need to be responsible, live within your means, because that's what the wealthiest people in the world are doing, is they are living within their means and saving the rest so that they can keep investing it and making more money so that they can make better decisions for themselves long term. And the last tip that makes the quietly wealthy truly wealthy is that they focus on the long term and not the short term gain. You have to understand there is no such thing as getting rich quick. You can get lucky by winning the lottery or by gambling, but that is not an appropriate approach to getting wealthy. The people who really make money long term are the ones who are disciplined and consistent and make the right financial financial decisions for themselves over a long period of time. Now, it's a bummer. I wish that we could all make money within the next year, but by becoming truly wealthy, it's going to take decades. So you need to find a lifestyle that works for you in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term, and stay disciplined within that lifestyle. If you can live within your means, be smart about your investing, and think long down the road, then you'll realize that the time is going to come for you anyway. And so you might as well get the result that's best for you. So what I recommend doing is think long term. The title of the video is How to Get Rich Without Anyone Noticing. That emphasizes that this is just a gradual process. And so by staying consistent, by staying disciplined, you're going to end up getting to the point where you can actually become a millionaire. And then once you have a couple of those, you can spend $1 million.